start. Okay, thank you all for coming today. This webinar, I imagine it to be for the newcomers, for newbies on ARV. And agenda of this webinar will be a first introduction to associative remote viewing. We will see what that means and what it is. Then I will go to ARV protocol, how we can use ARV protocol to make decisions about some questions. And we will do first one ARV trial as an example, and it will be a manual example. We will do it as if you're doing manual without assistance of any computer or any software. Then after that, we will see how we can do all that with my software called ARV Studio. Okay, just a bit about me. I don't know if some of you maybe doesn't know me yet. So my name is Igor Grgic. I'm from Central Europe in Croatia. I'm involved in ARV and remote viewing for last around 4 years, and I'm a member of APP, Applied Recognition Project, and I manage my ARV group and do lots of interesting projects and ARV predictions. Okay, so associative remote viewing, what is that? So we use ARV. So ARV is just another, let's say, form of remote viewing. In this form or method of remote viewing, we are predicting an outcome of a future event. It is usually always a future event, but you can also ask questions about something in present time or even past time, for example, if something is correct or not correct. But we are using it mostly for predicting outcome of future event through associating two possible event outcomes with two photo targets, and then using remote viewing, so going into remote viewing session to describe and sketch the target associated with what will be event's actualized outcome. Why I say two possible outcomes? It doesn't have to be strictly two outcomes. So it doesn't have to be that this event has to have two possible outcomes. It can be event with 3 possible outcomes or 4 possible outcomes or more. And this is what we call multi-peak. But I will talk today only about events with 2 possible outcomes because it's the easiest. And this kind of events with 2 possible outcomes and protocol which we use is called binary protocol. So binary, so we have one option or other option as an outcome. Okay, so let's try to explain all that on one example for one binary ARV event. So let's take a soccer game. Let's have 2 teams, Norway and Scotland. So they will play a match, and we want to find out using remote viewing and ARV which team will progress to the next round of a tournament. So first, in first place, so we can talk about binary protocol and binary outcome. We have to set up the event so it has only 2 possible outcomes. So when we talk about soccer games can have can end up in a draw. for example, one-to-one, but we are not interested in that. So it doesn't matter how the game will end, because in a tournament, one team will eventually progress to the next round. It doesn't matter if the game will end in regular time, or the winner will be known after the extra time or on penalties. We just simply want to know who will be the overall winner. So let's see how we do it through using the protocol. So this now will be the standard binary ARV protocol. In step 1, we need to select 2 targets. So usually we can do that manually, like I don't know, cut some images from magazine, or even on computer, browsing for images on, I don't know, Google Images or another website. And we need to find 2 images which are as much as possible different from each other as possible, so we can later make easier this distinction between those 2 images when matching the viewer's transcripts to one of these 2 images. I will explain that more later. So we find 2 images. One image, we have photo 1 and photo 2. Photo 1 is a photo of a child, and we associate this image with first possible outcome of that soccer game. And first possible outcome is that Norway will win. The second photo is a photo of a truck, and so we will associate this photograph with the other possible outcome, which is that Scotland wins. And what is important is that if you will be a remote viewer who will do the session, then this step number 1, this target selection and association, must do someone else, not you, but someone else, because you have to be blind. You have to be absolutely blind to both photo targets, and you must know anything about these targets. So you can ask a family member or a friend to do this step 1 for you. And we will later see how all this step 1 can be done with just one click on my computer program. Okay, so this person is called a tasker who sets these targets. In step 2, a tasker will assign a coordinate, or TRN. TRN means a target reference number, or we call it a coordinate. A coordinate is usually 6-digit number or 8-digit number. For example, 43213978, and we give this coordinate to remote viewer who will do the session. And tasking for the viewer, or intention what the viewer will do, what he needs to do, is to describe and sketch the feedback photo target. And this feedback photo target the viewer will see only after the outcome is known. And this will be, of course, only the feedback photo which is associated with what will be the actual outcome of event. So let's see further. In step 3, just let me check my, okay. In step 3, after you as remote viewer have done your session, then you can self-judge. We will see what that means. You can self-judge your transcript you produced in your session against 2 photos, or you can submit your and send your transcript to another person, to a tasker. So this person is then called usually independent judge or independent analyst, who does all that judging and decision making about the prediction instead of you. So you keep totally blind to the targets, and only you will see the feedback photo after the outcome. So some viewers prefer self-judging, some viewers prefer independent judging, some use both ways. Yeah, this is all individual decision, and it's up to you to try one or the other and see what kind of results you will get, and then decide which one is better for you. But if you ask me, I prefer independent judging, so that you never see both photo targets and not to judge your session. Okay, step 4. In the judging phase, we want to find out, does the transcript corresponds with photo 1 or photo 2? So we have photo 1 and photo 2, and the viewer has produced some transcript. Let's imagine that on this picture, on the left side, let's imagine this is the transcript you produced in a remote viewing session. So your perceptions here are red, black, blue, man-made, hard, round, metal or stone, and you have this tiny sketch of something rectangular and with these 2 circles. And now a judge needs to decide to which of these 2 photos this transcript corresponds to. Where do you see where is the match between this transcript and these 2 photos? So as you can see, this transcript is a much better match for photo number 2, because in the transcript we have a red and black color, which is correct for this truck. This truck is man-made, of course. It's hard because it's made of hard metal and so on. And it's also round because of the round wheels. And it's metal, of course. And the sketch is also a very close representation of this truck. So, if you self-judge, then, or either if you use independent judge, this would be the process of the judging. And in this case, your prediction would be that the outcome will be that Scotland will win this game. Okay, let me move back to my slide. But something here is stuck. Full screen, I don't know what happened before, so I will keep it just this way. When we judge, let's say what says here. We want to quantify the level of correspondence by assigning a score for both side A, side 1, and side 2. We usually do that by using the so-called SRI, Standard Research Institute / Targ scale. or simply we can call it 7-point scale. And there are some other scales like 3-point scale and other, but we usually use this scale. So this is Targ's or SRI confidence ranking system. So we assign a score from 0 to 7 for each of the 2 photos when we look at the transcript. So 0 means no correspondence of the transcript with the photo 1. We do this for each of the 2 photos independently. You first score photo 1 and give it a score, decide about the score. Then when you're done with photo 1, the child photo, you move to other photo, truck photo, and then score, and then assign a score what you think the best fits to that photo. There is one thing we call the threshold. The threshold is usually between 3 and 4. It's 3.5. The threshold is what makes this transcript actionable, or let's say wagerable. What this means? This means that this score means that you give this transcript enough confidence so you can make action based on that score. For example, that you will bet money on this game. So we see that, for example, score 3 means that we have a mixture of correct and incorrect elements in the transcript. So this means that some of the perceptions in the transcript are correct and have a match with the photo, but there are also other elements which are not correct, and you cannot, and they do not correspond with the photo. And this is usually not enough to indicate that this transcript is wagerable. Yes, we can say it indicates that the viewer has made contact with the target, but in this case, we say usually that the signal is mixed, because we have in the description it says it's a mixture of correct and incorrect elements. So we usually want something more. We want to have more of correct and matchable elements, and we can tolerate some incorrect information, because it's very hard to see a transcript without any without incorrect information. And so we can grade the session using these scores up to number 7. Let's say we scored photo 1 with 4. The score confidence ranking 4, because we see there was a good match. There was a scale. The truck. We give truck the score of 4 because there was a nice sketch. There was a metal. There was a red. There was a black. So the score is 4. On the other hand, for the child photo, we didn't have almost anything that corresponds with child photo, so we can give easily score for photo number 1, 0 or 0.5 or something like that. But most importantly, we made a decision that our prediction will be photo number 2, the truck photo, and because the photo number 2 is associated with Scotland wins, we will bet that Scotland will win. So this will be our prediction. Step 5, making final decision about the prediction. So we pick the side with higher score. And if a score is above specific threshold, which we define as 3.5. Then step 6 is when an event is happening. So we have a Norway versus Scotland game. When the game is finished, let's say that Norway wins. This means, I will just reverse this. Let's say that Scotland wins because we decided that our transcript is a match with the truck. So this means that the truck will be the feedback photo. So I will just correct this. Scotland wins and the truck photo will be the feedback photo. And now in the feedback phase, the tasker or the judge has to send or present the feedback photo, which is the truck photo, to the remote viewer. And if you're using independent judge, then it's best and best practice that you never see the other photo. So if you see the other photo, this can be the cause of the phenomena we call displacement. And this displacement phenomena is something that which happens when you describe the wrong photo, the other photo target, and if you bet on other photo target, then you will lose. You will lose money if you bet on that. And if you have problem with displacement, and if you are self-judging, then maybe a solution for you would be to try to use someone else to judge your sessions. Okay, and as a step 8, only after the feedback is delivered, only then it is advisable to send outcome information, or for you to receive outcome information from a tasker, or if you log on to the, betting site to see if you have won or not. Because if you, the theory is that if you, that if you receive or know the outcome before you have seen your feedback, that you can have emotional response to the outcome. And this response may be something that you have picked up in your session and maybe can screw the results, can mess up with the results of your, it can mess up your session, and can also be theoretically maybe cause of displacement. On this sketch we can see all that process described just as a one schematic. Okay, do we have any questions about this protocol and these steps in the protocol? If you have anything to ask about that now, please just turn on your mic.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, instead of using pictures like a truck or a kid, can you use just like simple shapes like a square or a circle?
Well, you can definitely use it if you want to. It can be any kind of targets. Some you can use even videos. You can use real life objects. like apple, like, I don't know, what you find in the kitchen. And you can also use simple shapes like you described. But maybe it's better to have something with more something that will give you more to pick up about the target, because the sensors we usually pick up in the remote viewing sessions are the colors, tastes, smells, shapes or textures, sounds. So if you have a picture which represents something like a truck, then you can imagine that truck is, I don't know, the engine is running, so you may hear some sound. You have color, of course, attached to that truck. Maybe you can feel the smell of a tire, of a rubber, or something like that. So you can pick up all these kind of different sensories. And if you have only one shape, like you said, a circle or rectangular, then you are only left to deal with that representation of a target, and you could pick up much more.
Okay, cool.
So we have a question here. Let me see. Anastasia, it is not clear to me how I can do self-judging without polluting the results. Well, that is a good question. So you can start with self-judging. You can do it definitely, but if you think that you will pollute results and you see that in your results, then maybe a temporarily switch to someone else judging your sessions. But if you're self-judging, you have to set in your mind, like you have to have this intention that you are only, that your intention in your remote viewing session is that you will describe only the feedback photo. The feedback photo which will be the one associated only with the actualized outcome. So you can think of the two images you will see in your self-judging just as, how do I put this? They are not your feedback. They are just some targets, and you don't want to put any attachment to any of these targets, any emotional attachment. Just do the self-judging without thinking about outcome, just doing the judging. And your attention should be put on the feedback photo, the one you will see after the outcome. And you can even set a specific time in the future when you will see or present yourself with the outcome photograph, the photograph associated with the outcome. So you can set, let's say, 4 hours from now when the game or event is finished, and then at this exact time, 4 hours from now, you you see this feedback photo. So this can maybe help you to focus on that specific time in the future, only on that time in the future when you will see the feedback photo. And then you should dismiss that you will already see both of them while you self-judge. I don't know if this helps you.
Okay. I have two questions actually.
Mm-hmm.
One is how who can I choose, or is there somebody who offers themselves as independent judges? And the second question is that if somebody asks me, is Norway going to win or Scotland? I don't see pictures coming up. I just see the match, or I feel into it, and I have a different technique with how I gauge the betting, if you like. So for me, it's very the way I put this is I would say I drop into the zero field of consciousness, and I don't connect it with pictures. And I think that's why I had a problem with Marty's approach of saying, okay, this is your target, and then he gives, for example, the Super Bowl.
So, are you saying that you can pick up directly?
Yes, that's
for example, Norway or Scotland, you can pick up that directly.
Yes.
Okay, if you do that, then this is not associated remote viewing by definition. Because,
okay.
because in associative remote viewing, we associate the outcome with a picture, and you as a viewer, you are blind. You don't even know which game it is. Oh, sorry, I maybe forgot to mention this in the beginning. I mean, you can be aware which game it is, but you can. I mean, you can do both. You can select a game on your own, but you can also be blind to a game if you want that somebody else selects a game, or you can use, I don't know, a computer to select a game randomly by you, or you can put several games on a piece of paper, cut the papers, and just shuffle mix the papers and select one paper randomly and put it on the side, and you will open this paper and read which game it is only after you are done with judging and when you made your prediction.
Okay. So that would actually be a great way to practice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the real point of associative remote viewing is to not do it directly, not doing directly, asking directly yourself who will win.
Oh, that's why I was confused, because I work directly. I don't.
Yeah. So you have to view the pictures.
Oh, okay.
And the pictures are associated with two outcomes. So if you get the correct picture, if you connect with the correct picture, this automatically means that you connected with the correct outcome.
But and I'm sorry to keep asking, keep buttering on about this, but because if I, we don't have pictures, we just get the question. So do I understand this correctly, that if there is this proposition, okay, what is the game outcome? And depending on if I go into a meditative state and I sort of say, okay, what is coming up, and I see, say, for instance, the child that comes up, and even if that's wrong, there is what you would call, what was that again?
Displacement.
Yes, right. Thank you. Displacement. But at the same time, is that how that works? Because I'm not really clear about this process. And then also with the independent judging, I think there were people that offered themselves as independent judges. Is that correct?
Sorry. I was distracted by the phone. I close it now. Please
No
repeat.
problem. I said, you know, with the independent judging, I think there were some people that offered themselves as independent judges.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if someone offered to be.
I saw something like that. I might be wrong, but the other coming back to the target, as it were. If I have the target is blind.
Yeah,
so,
you are blind to both targets before remote viewing.
But what I don't understand is how, if somebody says to me, okay, give me a proposition of, will the NASDAQ go down to 7,000, or, you know, and then they say, but that, to me, that's not blind. Does that make sense?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes, it makes sense, but like you said, you were doing it directly.
Right, that's why it doesn't make sense.
And even if you know what is the question, a NASDAQ will go up or down. Even if you know the question, it still will be masked by the two photos, because you will not answer and view directly. Will it go up or down? You will not go. You will not be seeing a chart going up or chart going down.
Right.
You forget about that completely. You completely forget about that. You are not doing that. You are doing these two pictures.
I see. So if the ideal in that case then is to actually get the picture, the impression, and the visual, the sounds, the smells.
Yes, that's correct. So in the in the step number 2, as you see on the screen, the only thing you as a remote viewer, the only thing you get is this coordinate. You get nothing else. Like we said, you are blind to both photo targets. You don't know them. You don't know anything about them.
Yes.
Also, you don't have to know anything about event. Even if you know which event, which game, which I don't know.
What the question is. Yes, what the question is.
Where the question is, even if you know that, you're still not doing that directly. You are only interested in viewing this the feedback photo, your feedback photo.
So can I, just to make sure I understand this correctly, so if we get the coordinate, what I do then is I get quiet and I tune into that coordinate.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Now I understand, because I was like, what is this? I don't quite understand what's happening.
Okay.
Very confusing. Because I function differently, yes, so that's why I had the problem.
Okay, so you just to repeat, you just write coordinate down on your paper, and your intention is to describe and sketch the feedback photo associated with the winning photo target. What comes up? What will be the actual outcome? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Anything? Someone else? Any question about this so far? Okay, chat box, let me check the chat box. Okay, nothing here. Okay, let's move on. The time is passing quickly here. So now about my software ARV Studio. I was managing my ARV group. I manage it now for 3 to 4 years, and I was doing all this manually. All these steps. I mean, not manually like cutting pictures from magazines. I was still using my computer, but I was browsing pictures on the internet and stuff like that. Sorry. So I wanted to simplify and automate this process. So I started to developing this program, which on the end allowed me to completely automate lots of stuff in this protocol. So for example, it will let me to generate this TRN or coordinate number with just one click. Then I can do the tasking and wording in this software and send it to a viewer. Or if you are solo viewer, you can print that on your printer with your coordinates, so you have it ready for your session. Then the program will just with one mouse click select you a random photo, two random photos, and it will make sure they are dissimilar from each other as possible. And this is important. So you don't want to, for example, a child photo and that other photo is, I don't know, another human being on the photo, because it will be difficult to judge. You will not you will not be able to decide which one is the right one if the viewer describes some human being. Okay, and also the program will automatically associate outcomes to photo targets, so you don't do this manually or other person. Also, it will deliver or present to you your feedback photo. Also, it will let you to keep all your trials, all your data stored on your computer. Okay. Can you hear me? I got message on my screen that my connection was degraded. But
it's good.
Okay, great.
Yes, I can hear you.
It happens sometimes. Okay, about my software. So in my software, you have exactly 1,200 photo targets. So these photo targets I selected carefully through the years, and these are and these photo targets are ready for your trials. This is an exclusive and unique photo target collection, so designed for the purpose of ARV. We have a question, Brian, is 1,200 going to be enough? Yes, I think it's more than enough, because if you think of it, with 12,000 you can make 600 pairs. And I don't know how much time you need to do 600 sessions. Probably, I mean, if you do 2 sessions on a day, you will need 1 year. And after 1 year, you will surely not remember which targets you saw 12 months ago. So even if some targets will repeat, it will repeat only after 1 year or so. And not only that, these pairs, these 600 pairs are not fixed pairs. So these pairs are not, these targets are not prepared. The computer will randomly select. So if the computer selects first photo, then the rest 1,199 pictures, photographs are still available to match them with this first photo selected. So I don't know what would be the math, but the number of potential pairs is much more than these 600 if you have pre-selected pairs. It's much more, thousands and thousands and thousands of possible Excuse me. Okay. Another feature is what I call ARV optimal. This is a built-in target pairing algorithm which ensures blind and random selection of photo targets. This means blind for you as a viewer. And also it's always random. You cannot never tell or know or assume which kind of target it will be. It's always random. So this algorithm is designed so it will ensure the similarity of selected photo targets, meaning that they will be as different from each other as possible, and thus creating most optimal conditions for your best remote viewing performance. So this is very important, this dissimilarity. I will explain that a bit later. And the last feature is what I call ARV guard. This is safeguard algorithm which ensures the non-repetition of selected photo targets for the next 300 remote viewing session and next 150 ARV trials. And this is more than enough that the photo targets will not repeat. I mean, they can repeat, but it will have to be after very, very long time. So you will not remember probably that you had this target, or if you will, it will be, you know, long time ago. So it will not affect your viewing. And actually it happens very rare because there are 1,200 targets. Okay, so the current version of my program is 2.4. It was released 2 weeks ago. So after 3 years of collecting and analyzing over 600 trials, in this new version, I concluded that it can reduce ARV misses up to 10% and makes ARV sessions easier to analyze or judge in the judging phase by 40%, and can reduce poor target pairing by 90%. So I will explain that here. Reducing of misses also implies reducing of money loss if you are wagering, of course, on your predictions. So how am I reducing misses and reducing poor target pairing and making judging easier? So after years, I observed numerous poor pairings, which cause sessions judging and analyzing to be more difficult, and thus putting judges into a tough decision-making position. So I created this pairing algorithm to create conditions to be able to perform at optimal ARV accuracy level or hit rate. And this hit rate will reflect your current skill level and experience. So let's see what I consider as a poor target pairing, which is also a significant factor creating unwanted judging and analyzing difficulties and frustration, and of course producing some of the ARV misses. Of course, I'm not saying that this will produce all misses, but some of them. So poor quality pair is considered when we have both photo targets, when both photo targets include identical gestalt or element like water, natural element, human or animal, or building. So this kind of pairing is not such a problem for a viewing part of the process, but it's causing difficulties for the judge who is trying to determine which of the two targets is a better match for the remote viewing session. So for example, the poor target pair is if you have, let's say, water and tree. If you have water and tree in both targets, this is very poor pairing, because when you will, if the remote viewer will have in the transcript both water and target, water and tree, then you will not be able to determine which actually is the right target, because you have these two elements in both targets. And over the years, I have seen lots of this kind of targets, which then makes judging difficult. Then you have to pass. Pass means that you will not make a prediction. So you cannot use this prediction. And of course, we want to avoid situation like that as much as possible. So with my program, I observed that poor target pairing is reduced to up to 90%. So I'm not claiming it's 100% because that is very hard, but at least it's reduced to a minimum. The two other factors are when one target's complexity and visual or physical entropy is not equal to other targets' complexity. This is a bit hard to explain, the entropy stuff and all around entropy, but I'll just say, for example, entropy means the measure of disorder or measure of chaos, let's say. So if you have one target where in which you have, I don't know, house on fire and people running, this target can be considered that it has a high visual or physical entropy, lots of going on, lots of disorder, lots of chaos, lots of so-called, I don't know, it's proper to call it entropical energy. So if one target is like that, and if the other target is imagined as a second target, something very simple, something like, I don't know, kitchen appliance, like a toaster. Okay, not toaster, because toaster is running on energy, is plugged into electricity. Let's say a knife. So a knife is something very simple. There is no energy around that. Nothing is chaotic. Nothing is running or jumping, or you know what I mean. So if these kind of targets are paired, then the difference in entropy and complexity is too high. They are not of equal complexity, and the theory is, and some has observed, that the remote viewer will be drawn to pick up on the more complex, the target with more entropy. So we want to make both targets equal when we talk about that. Okay, a question.
Igor.
Yeah.
How did you, how are you calculating the entropy of the images? Are you?
No, I'm not calculating it. It
Okay.
just as it says, visual entropy, what you can see with naked eye.
Okay, so it's more like a general concept of this image.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, cool.
Because I know what you probably thinking, like Ed May is using the other kind of entropy, informational entropy, which is actually calculated, but I don't have yet algorithm to do that.
Right. Okay. Just thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, no problem. And the last factor of poor target pairing would be when targets are of poor resolution or have blurred or cut off parts, and thereby not allowing unambiguously identification of what the target actually is. I think this should be self-explanatory, that we don't want this kind of targets. For example, if something is cut off and you cannot actually tell what this is, what is outside of the frame of this picture. Okay, let's move on. So by eliminating such factors, there are threefold benefits. So, like I said, poor target pairing is reduced by 90% with my algorithm. As a direct result of that, judging process is much easier, up to 40%. I will explain why I think it's 40%. And as C, ARV misses are reduced up to 10% as a result of A and B. So ARV misses are reduced up to 10% when comparing to usual pairing techniques which can produce good quality pairs, of course, because nothing is wrong with other techniques. Other techniques can be also good, but over the years, I observed that it can produce up to 50% of problematic or poor quality pairs, like I mentioned. All the reasons, all the factors, what makes poor quality pairs. So ARV Studio is packaged with these quality target pairings and in ever improving target pairing algorithm, which ensures the similarity and opposition of both photo targets. So if I reduced poor target pairing to 90%, then 50% of usual problematic pairings I saw are reduced then to a factor that will eventually help you to reduce up to or close to 10% with usual pairing techniques. It might not be exactly 10%, it may be 5%, it will be your data and your experience with it. If you have some past records of past, I don't know if you would use some other pairing systems or someone else was pairing for you, or you've been pairing your targets in advance for you, you will then be able to compare if that benefits your accuracy. Okay, just to mention that ARV Studio is used all over the world by remote viewers in USA, Canada, Russia, Italy, UK, Japan and South Korea. Okay, let's move now to ARV Studio, because how much time we have here, how time it is it's now, let's see. Okay, we are 1 hour and 8 minutes in this presentation. Okay, let me open my program. So when you open it, I will show in this brief demonstration just two protocols. First one has nothing to do with ARV. It is just plain and simple practicing of a target, of one target. You are just remote viewing one target if you want to practice. So you select remote view a practice photo target, you press on continue, and you go to the tasking, which says create new remote viewing practice task number 1. Click create. You will get your coordinate or target reference number, and your intention is and your focus is on to describe and sketch your feedback photo. So now in step 2, This is when you will do remote viewing. So you have two options here. So you can either select first option, which is that I will do my practice session right now. So you can keep ARV Studio open. So you sit, you're sitting on your table, for example, you have a piece of paper, you can now write coordinate and do the session. And our ARV Studio is open. Or if you don't want to do it right now, so you select the second option. I will do my practice remote viewing session later. In this case, you write down your TRN. You can close ARV Studio and come back later to get your feedback when you're done with your session. So in this case, I will select first option. Okay, let's assume my remote viewing session is done. I have it on my paper. I want to see what is my what was my target, to see my feedback. So I just check this box. I'm done with my session and show me my feedback. And here it is. My feedback is on screen. And I close and I'm finished with my practice session. Okay, and let me show you the next protocol. I will just here cover the standard binary ARV protocol in solo mode while you will be self-judging.
Igor.
Yeah.
Before you move off of that one, show us how you would input the feedback, the TRN number if you were going back later. Like if you say, okay, I'm coming back tomorrow instead of today.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so the program, as you can see here, is the status message. Practice 1 is completed. So this means that you have no open sessions, no open trials. So if you want to do a next one, continue. And you go back to task and create remote viewing practice task number 2. So this task number will always increment by 1, of course. Create. So coordinate is generated. Now let's have option number 2. So you just write it down on the paper, your coordinate, to have it for you later, and you close the program. Let's say you come back tomorrow with your session. You open the program again, and you will see this message that your practice number 2 is in progress, and your feedback is ready for you to be presented to you on the screen. So you just click continue, and you click I'm done with my session, and show me my feedback. And here it is. As you can see, program is designed that tasking and remote viewing phase are grayed out, disabled, so you cannot make any wrong step. So you just follow what you have on the screen. Okay, you have a question?
You can only do one practice session at a time, like you couldn't do several in a row and come back and do feedback later?
Yes, once at a time, only one at one time. Because I wanted to follow some rules, which is you don't want to do another remote viewing session before you have completed your feedback for your current session. Okay? So you don't have, so in this case, you're closing the so-called feedback loop for your current session, and only when you're done with feedback for current session, then you go to practice for another target. Okay, in the chat box. Sunny, yes, because it was. Yes, like Sunny says, because it models up the impressions you get. So if you're doing 2 sessions at one time, then you can have a displacement, or also called sometimes bleed through to another target. Okay, I will now show the solo mode self-judging, and we'll just mention that besides self-judging, you have solo mode with independent judge. And in this case, when you want to use independent judge, then you as a remote viewer are not operating my program. You're not operating and running ARV Studio. The independent judge needs to operate the program. And the independent judge will send you your coordinate. You will do the session. You will send the result to the independent judge, who serves also as a tasker in this case, of course, and he will send you your feedback photo. So in this case, with independent judge, you don't have to run ARV Studio. The independent judge will do that all for you if you find that person. But of course, if you want to self-judge, then you do all by yourself. You run the program and go through it all by yourself. Okay, to do a solo mode, I just need to create my profile. This is only one-time job. You do this only once, and then when you do that, then you can simply continue use your same profile for other kinds of protocols included with the program. So let's say my solo name Igor, and my email blah blah something.com. I will store that information and save my profile, and you will just get this message that your profile is saved and created. Okay, now I want to do solo mode in self-judging. With self-judging, I will just select here my profile, click continue. So this is trial number 1, event number 1. It goes incrementally, of course, after each trial. Now on this screen, you first have to select the target reference number type or coordinate type. You can select 8-digit coordinate, 6-digit. You can select two letters plus 6 digits. 2 letters will be the first 2 letters of your name, which you inputted as your name in the profile. Or the 4th option is to use current date. Okay, and this will be saved. Whichever the last you used, it will be saved as default. Okay, so you proceed to tasking phase. You just follow the buttons on the screen as they appear. So the only thing you can do now, and you cannot do anything wrong because it will just lead you through the process. You click the event information button when you will enter information about what you want to predict, what is your question. So if we talk about a game, let's say game is in 2 days from now at, I don't know, 2200 hours time zone. So let's say it is a soccer, or if you want basketball game. This is like event type. Then you can enter some other information about event type, like, I don't know, it's NBA. Now give me 2 teams. I don't know which teams you like. Chicago.
Lakers.
Okay, LA Lakers. Okay. Okay, what team do you want to enter?
I don't know the other ones.
Okay, I will enter Chicago Bulls. I like them in the 90s where Jordan played, so and Tony Kukoc. Okay, let's say that we want to simplify things. Let's say that we want to know the overall winner, because there are other betting types like over or under specific line of total game points. And if you hover your mouse over each of these fields, you will get some ideas what you can enter. I will just enter once again that the possible outcomes are that Lakers will win or Bulls will win. So, and my line, in full line info, you can enter some question like who will win the game, Lakers or Bulls. Okay, we save that. We are done with that. Now in step 2, you can word your tasking. You can define your wording or cue. You just select some wording from the template. There are 3 built-in cues. One is a general cue, which you can select if you don't need your cue because you already, or wording, because you already entered that in the event info. When you entered the question, like we entered that who will win. But you can, so in that case, if you don't want to use it, you just quickly select my general cue, which will mean describe and sketch the feedback photo. You save changes, use cue and close. I will not explain much of this now, just to mention that you can, if you really want to word your cue properly, you can do that. In this text field, you can enter whatever you want, and you can create new cues, delete cues, edit cues, and whatever you like. Okay. Now when you're done with that, you just click on generate. Your target reference number / coordinate will be generated. And then you just set some time when you plan to have your transcript ready, by which time you will do your session. So you just set some time before the start of the game. Sorry, this is not in English. I should have changed the regional settings on my computer, but
it's nice.
So you just set some time. Let's say the game was at 22. In 2 days from now, we want to have a session 2 hours before the game. This is especially important if you are acting as independent judge for someone or a group manager for other viewers. Then they will get the email. In the email, it will be clearly stated when their transcripts are due. But if you are self-judging, then you just quickly enter something or just quickly click on set date and time. It doesn't have to be accurate, but if you want to, you can do everything by, protocol. Okay, you just click set date and time. It is set. The step number 5, you don't have to click on it. You just can move to step 6 and save task. But for the sake of this demonstration, I will just show you the step 5. This is what you will get as your task in your email or you can print it. So here you can print it on the paper if you are solo viewer and self-judging. And if you're sending this to someone on his email, then he will get this exact message. Okay, you save now the task. Task is saved. And here you can see the current event status. The tasking is completed, data is saved. You can close ARV Studio, and after transcripts due time, this means after your session is done, you continue by activating judging phase. So we are finished with tasking phase. We can close the program. When we are done with session, we will go back to the program. So let's assume we are done with the session. We go back to the program. When you open the program, you will get this message that your event number 1 is in progress and that your judging phase is ready. So you just select your profile and click continue and activate judging. You just click randomize button, who will do all the magic, all the target selection, randomizations, all the stuff, and click start judging. So I'm self-judging now my transcripts, let's say. I have, let's say, my transcript in front of me on my desk. And now I'm ready to see photo targets and I will judge them. So let's see the side A photo. So here is side A photo. I have my transcript. I will self-judge. I will assign a score from 0 up to 7.0, which will quantify the correspondence of my transcript with this target. Here on the upper right, I have the SRI button. If you click on that button, you can see as a help, as a reminder, the scale. You can close it and then you can click again if you need it again. If you close the picture, you can always display it back. You can always click side A button again. Okay, let's say I have my score. Then I go to side B photo. I open side B photo and then go to judge and analyze this photo and assign a score. Let's say my transcript corresponds like very, very good. So it's like 5.0. So based on these scores, of course, higher score is for side B. So I will select side B as my peak. And as you can see, I still do not know what is the prediction. It is not yet revealed. So you are unbiased during your judging. You don't know where is which picture is for LA Lakers, which picture is, of course, for Chicago Bulls. Only when you are done with your pick and when you click on the prediction, only then your prediction will be displayed. So in this case, prediction is that Chicago Bulls will win the game. Now the next step is you have two options. You select I am done. This means that you are done with this session and you will continue. And maybe some viewers will like to do another session, like multiple sessions for the same event. So you can do as many sessions as you like for the same event. But in this case, I will just select I am done and continue. Okay, just a moment, I have a question here. Brian, this event info interface deals very well with intention with setting up targets for group predictions. Are you saying it is effective with solo or one-person remote viewing the targets for specific events outcome? Let me think what you are trying to ask with this question. Okay. I mean, yes, it is.
Igor, basically, I'm asking is that, you know, this is totally independent. What you're implying then is that I can run this software, which I think is fabulous, thank you, and be totally independent of anyone else's interaction with me and all of this. And
yes.
Wow. And so I can do it as often as I want, as much as I want, with whatever events and outcomes that I choose.
Yes, of course. Any events, any outcomes. Yeah.
Well, I know it's brand new, but I'd sure be interested to see, you know, a few months from now with people doing exactly that and what kind of feedback and testimonials and what kind of success rate that everybody has. Do you have any way of measuring that after a certain length of time?
Well, I don't have records of my, clients who bought my software. There are several dozens of people, and I mean, I don't ask them to, send me their results and stuff like that. But few people have reported that they are using it successfully. And there is one story about a guy who initially made some, I don't know, 1,000 or close to 1,000 with few sessions. So that's all I can say, because I don't know records of the people using it. I mean, you know what?
Okay, well, I've just been relying on groups. I belong to 5 different groups. And quite frankly, the groups are all mixed. You know, sometimes we're accurate, sometimes we're not. Sometimes I see a target differently than the group does. And so, you know, sometimes I'm forced to choose between my own target and what the group consensus is when it comes to placing a wager. And I'd like to, you know, I've always been looking for something exactly like this so I could be independent of any other influences. And whether I'm successful or not is solely dependent upon me and no one else. So I really appreciate this, and I'm definitely going to purchase. I'm strictly Mac based, and so I'm going to have to install some of the supporting software to or either that or get a PC computer. But
you can run it as it's described on my website. If you go to my website, it's described, and I have a video. I have a video of how to set up on a Mac. I mean, it's actually a workaround, because you will need to run virtual machine inside of your Mac, and on this virtual machine you run Windows. So
I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of what your presentation here. Please continue on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I have one thing, Igor.
Okay.
I think it's very, very interesting, this last step of I am done, or I would like to continue was the other option, or do another session, I think. In this situation, it says the Chicago Bulls are going to win. Could you then select, I want to do another session, and then try and find out whether it's going to be, how much it's going to be over or under?
No, you will still have the same question. You will just you can. So if our initial question was, will be Bulls or Lakers, who will win? And you cannot change that in this trial. This is all event or trial number 1. And as a event number 1, we defined it as who will win, Lakers or Bulls. So you cannot do over under. You would have to do another separate event, from the scratch.
Okay, thank you.
So with this second option, I will do another session. This means that you will do another session for the same question. For example, if you had if your score for side B was below threshold, we said that we usually as a threshold use 3.5, and then we can consider this session as a wageable or actionable. So if your score is below 3.5 for side B, let's say 2.0, then of course you will have to pass. And then your prediction will not be any more Chicago Bulls. It will says pass. And in this case, you can select, I will do another session. So until you get high enough scores to make your pick, for a specific side. But also keep in mind that if you do another session, that means you will have totally different set of pairs. A new set of pairs will be randomly generated. And then if you do 2 sessions, then you will have to deal with 2 feedbacks. So after the outcome, you will first see feedback for first session, and right after, like few seconds after, or I don't know, you can even make it few minutes after. It will depend on you when you click on the button. There will be 2 buttons. Each of 2 button clicks will reveal assigned feedback photo. So remember that you will have to deal with 2 photo targets, one after another. And this is, for example, what Greg K. I don't know if you heard of Greg K., who did this for like 13 years. He did multiple sessions for each event. I don't know, maybe like much more than only 2. I think up to 5, 6, or 7 even sessions per one question. And he did use similar software as I'm aware of, like I did, which also presented him the feedback session after the outcome one after another. He did these quick feedbacks like maybe seconds away from each other. Okay, but enough about that. Let's move on. So I'm done. I click continue. And my final prediction is, I need to confirm my final prediction. I will select Chicago Bulls and I confirm it. If you want to change your mind, so just click cancel. If you want to confirm it, just click yes. And you will get the message that you are done. Everything is grayed out, so you cannot change anything or mess anything to, mess up the data of the program. And you will get this message for the current event status that the judging is completed. All your data is saved on your computer in files. You can close ARV Studio. And then after the outcome is known, you go back to the software and you continue by activating feedback phase. Okay, here you have another button, My Prediction. When you click on that button, it will open a folder with all files regarding this current trial saved on your computer. You can check your prediction. You can see it as HTML document and see what was your prediction. If you're sending this prediction someone to email, so prediction for event 1 is Chicago Bulls will win. And here is the question: who will win the game, Lakers or Bulls? So all this information is stored here, and you have also the pairs in this folder. So you have all documented if you need that to, I don't know, to have it all on your computer. Okay, let's close this. Yes. Okay, so we have our prediction. which is that Chicago will win. So after the game, we open the program again. The program will welcome you with this message that feedback phase is ready. You just select your profile, click continue, and activate feedback. And now you select the outcome. So what was the outcome of the game? So Chicago won the game. You log into this outcome. If you made a mistake, you just click undo. Okay, now I will lock it again. And now click on prepare feedback photo. And your feedback photo is prepared for you. And in step 2, it instructs you to get ready because feedback photo will be shown to you. So whenever you are ready to see your feedback, just click the button and here is your feedback photo. And that's it, pretty easy. You just complete the event and you are done. And so here is the status that your feedback is delivered, event is completed, and you can close ARV Studio. And here is one button. You can check your stats. Click this button. It will open an Excel document. And here you can see all the data regarding your event. What was the time of event, what type, which game, what was the question. And here you can see the scores. So, for example, this means V for viewer. Was this a hit, pass, or a hit, miss, or a pass for a viewer? So I had a hit. My confidence ranking score 1 for first photo was 2.5 and the other was 2. Actually, I first entered 5, but because I changed it, I was messing around with scores. So because of that, it was saved like 2. And if you're a group manager, then you have also this column which represents what was the group result. Was it a hit, miss, or a pass? And as you as you go with your trials events, this sheet will be filled with all your data. Okay, that's it. And if you run program again, you will see the message that event number 1 is completed. So if you didn't use it for some time and you don't remember where were you, it will remind you that you are done with this event. And when you click continue, it will go to the next and fresh event number 2. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Okay, Brian. Okay, this is exactly what I was been looking for. Okay, thank you, Brian. Okay, and as a final picture to remind you how ARV Studio works, this is a schematic showing you the process flow. So in setup phase, you just select your coordinate type. There is another thing in setup phase, but it is only if you are a group manager and if you are managing several judges, so I will not bother you with that. It just means that if you have 5 viewers in a group, then you can select that all 5 viewers will have the same photo pair for all, or you can select the second option that each viewer will have their own individual photo pair. So each of 5 of them will have different photo pair. But for solo mode, that of course is not important. That's just for group mode. Okay, after this setup, you have tasking. So you enter information about the event, you enter your wording or wording/q, you click to generate the TRN/coordinate, you set the transcript's due date and time, you can skip preview task, and you just click save and close the program. When the session is done, when you have your transcript ready, when you're ready to judge, you run the program again, you just click randomize, you just click judging, and you will see 2 buttons, one for side A photo, one for side B photo. You judge the transcript and make your prediction. You save your prediction on file, and that's it, you close the program. Now you can act based on your prediction if you are betting on a game, or I don't know, whatever you do. And after the outcome, after the feedback, you select the outcome. Based on the outcome, program will prepare you the feedback photo, and you just click on the button, and you will be presented the feedback photo. And if you are independent judge, then you will click the button send email to the viewer. So the viewer will get the feedback photo in the email. And if someone is a group judge or group manager, the feedback photo is sent to all the viewers on their email. Okay. I think there was a question. Teresa, does it track your stats as a percentage of hits or misses? You cannot see the percentage. It doesn't calculate the percentage, but you could do this after some time manually. You have this Excel file. Everything is in Excel file. You will just have to, use a formula to sum up all the hits, which are represented by letter H, like hits. So you sum up all the hits for view, you sum up all the misses, and then you just divide and get your percentage. This is not implemented to show you automatically, but you will just have to do it manually. Okay, Beth, what about updating my version of software? What is the procedure? Beth, did you get my email with the update, about the update? Because I sent it to all clients. Beth, are you there? Okay, Beth, can you write down your email here, please? Okay, let me just save that. Okay, I will send you again. I'll send you again the procedure for the update. Okay, Mac, is it possible to get your presentation for memory? Yes, this presentation is recorded. Oh, at least I hope it is, because I have to restart my computer. Okay, I see it's in recording mode. Okay, I will send the link to the recording to the APP list, or I think you're all on this list. If you're not, just put your mail. Okay, Brian, a really be interesting percentage, maybe up to one page with stats. Okay, Brian, like I said, I only have what I get as what the viewers are sending me. I'm not asking anybody to send me anything. So if someone sends me something, I will publish it. I have so few stories on my website, and that's all. Okay, Teresa, if you have the demo, you can just download the full version now without updating. Well, if you have the demo, once you get the full version download link, you just can install the full version, and it will overwrite the demo version. And you don't. And your question was about updating. You don't have to update anything, because full version is up-to-date version, so nothing to update. Okay. 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 Thank you, Meg, for your suggestion. Yes, I could include that in the next version, so it will calculate the hits and misses and show it to you. Yeah, that is good idea. Okay. Okay, thank you, Don, for your comment. Okay, yes, it can be used as a practice program. That's the first option. So you select the practice remote viewing target option. Yes, personal questions you can send to me. My email is, I will write it down. Send to everyone. Okay. Okay. Mac, do you mean the PowerPoint presentation? Okay. Okay, I will send you. Let me write your email. PowerPoint. Okay, maybe anyone has a question and wants to talk on mic, maybe. If you want to ask something on your mic, please do so. Okay. Yes.
I have a question. I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned South Korea, and I'm Korean by birth. I was adopted to Luxembourg.
Okay.
So that was actually my question about the personal question. But actually, I'm curious about, because you said RV or ARV is used in South Korea. Do you have... would you be so kind to maybe forward, if you have any more information about this, because I'd be interested in working with these people, if there's a possibility.
Okay. You can send me an email. You have my email.
Yes, right. I actually put it down here, yes. Okay,
just use my email and contact me. Okay.
Okay.
And I will let you know. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, for practice targets.
Yeah.
I'm interested in doing a target where I sort of know the category of what I'm viewing, do you have like a folder of categories of the images? I don't know if I'm asking the question correctly.
Oh, well, actually, the all 1,200 photo targets are divided in different categories.
Okay. Yes.
Different subfolders. And your question was if you can just view for particular category.
Right. Right.
Well, you can't do that. It's not designed like that.
Okay.
It takes into all the categories.
So you sort of got really quiet.
What?
I couldn't hear what you said for the last 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. What I said. I said the program does not. The program takes into consideration all categories, all files.
Okay.
So but I know you know which computers you can make a workaround.
Okay. So those categories are accessible through the folders.
Yeah. So you can just go to the folders and delete all other categories you're not interested in.
Oh, okay. Can you quickly show me where the folder is?
Okay. Let's see.
I haven't even installed the program yet.
Okay. Okay, so ARV Studio in Program Files,
yes.
you have the System folder,
right,
and Targets folder, and here are the categories. So if you don't want to use a specific category, just delete.
Okay.
But I never tested this. It should work, but so I never do this. What you ask, but if you do this. Don't delete the subfolders, but go into subfolder and select all files and delete all files. Keep the subfolder structure intact. Okay. But and another note: if you do that, then first make a safe backup of the whole targets folder. Because you will maybe for some other trials or something else, you will need all targets again.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
And also, if you have, for example, you have one trial for someone or for yourself with deleted target folders, but you want to test someone else, and your target folders, some of them are deleted. And you don't want to do that. For someone else, you want to have all 1,200 targets available.
Oh, right. Okay.
Then what you need to do, you just go to Program Files and make a copy of ARV Studio in another folder. You understand? And then from that other copy of the ARV Studio, run that copy for another purpose when you have all the targets. I mean, that's the solution for your question. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. That answered my question.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else on the mic? Okay. If that's it, I thank you very much for this opportunity to show you the basics of ARV and to be able to show you and demonstrate my software. Thank you all for being here, and I wish you lots of success with your remote viewing and associative remote viewing and your progress in this very interesting field. Thank you all and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. It was great.
Thank you. Bye-bye.